Good morning, motherfuckers. Okay, so I'm gonna cut to the chase here. I cannot express enough the importance of dating. My goodness gracious. Half of y'all in relationships that you ain't even happy in. I don't know what dating, and you come after me all you want, but I don't know what dating means to some people. And it's not that I'm mad at you, because I'm not mad at you. I feel sorry for people who are in relationships where they've ended up getting married and they have lost that spark with their partner. It amazes me. And you're in this turmoil and lost in this state of mind thinking that there's absolutely nothing that can fix it. So if you want to go ahead and check out the 2 links that I've attached to this live, it is a values assessment and it is a attachment style assessment. And these 2 assessments will allow you to align your guys' values and start living in alignment with each other. Man, it amazes me how you could be with someone and completely not be in love with that person. There is a whole nother side of life that is absolutely beautiful and amazing when you can connect with someone on such an intimate level and have acceptance, and that person knows who you are and you know who they are, and you have your inside jokes and your little romantic things that you do, like kissing her on the cheek or getting her a card in her favorite color. The importance of dating, man. If you take dating back to stage 1, you are going to notice right away if you guys click or if you guys don't click. Sometimes you get into relationships where a person tells you everything that you want to hear and you think you know someone and you don't. So in those situations, eventually you're going to start to see the truth. Pay attention to those signs when things don't start to go as good as you think they're going to be. The importance of dating, man. The importance of dating allows you to see people for who they truly are. You get to figure out their flaws. You get to figure out who they are on their worst days, who they are on their best days, how they incorporate you into their life. There's so many different dynamics that happen throughout a year, 2 years, 3 years. And that is so important to see before you end up marrying somebody and then having children with them and you don't love them. Or you feel like you don't love them. So the thing about love is when you're with someone for a long time, it can start to feel like you're falling out of love. And I think that's a boredom thing, or you feel either your freedom is being jeopardized or all the things that you used to enjoy that you just don't do anymore is starting to be taken away from you. And that's completely normal. So in those situations, you need to address those things, and you should be within a relationship where you can be vulnerable about that and talk about that, don't you think? And they should be accepting and loving towards you and figure out how or what it is exactly that's rooted underneath that. I feel there's this dynamic that's prominent in relationships where you can't express yourself authentically out of fear of judgment or out of fear of, Recently, I've experienced the dynamic of, the woman is soft and she doesn't need to hear any of these things, or she doesn't need to see any of these things. But yet in the background, you're completely a different person than when you are with her, and she doesn't even know who you are. What is that about? It drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts that the types of relationships that we're cultivating is a double-edged sword. There's there's what's double entendre, my brother would say. I used to, that part was a very big part of my vocabulary when I was in an abusive relationship. Anywho, moving on. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts now. Anywho, if you're gonna be two different people in a relationship and you can't show up as you authentically are with the person you decide to spend your whole life with, don't you think that's a little isolating? Don't you think you're already isolating yourself and cutting yourself off from experiencing the best relationship that you possibly could with somebody? It literally drives me nuts. I wish people didn't feel they had to be afraid of being who they authentically are or sharing experiences out of fear of judgment. I go through the same thing, though. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. I'm far from. I don't know if that was loud. Sorry, guys, the microphone. And we're constantly faced with this lesson of acceptance, constantly, and this dynamic of it shifting back and forth between people and an emotional ball bouncing back and forth. Constantly, every single day, acceptance shows up in so many different ways. And if you can't accept something about somebody, maybe it's not in line with your values, maybe it goes against your culture, you need to show up authentically as that person going in to meeting that person. So authenticity from the get-go is how you avoid so many different issues. And you could be authentic. You can be showing up as you really are, but you can't expect people to be showing up as they truly are, because half the people don't really know who they are or how they project who they are, or parts of them that they've suppressed onto other people. So it's not their fault either. You can't get mad at people when they manipulate you or they gaslight you. Because deep down underneath these behaviors, they don't even understand how they feel. And accepting that part of them is the ultimate form of acceptance. Accepting it doesn't mean that you have to stick around it. Accepting that with a kind and compassionate way doesn't mean that you align yourself there. It means you see them, you acknowledge them, you bring to their awareness, and then you can politely remove yourself. There's no need to fight every single day or to isolate yourself and become a different person away from them. You know, it kind of reminds me of addiction in a way. Love is an addiction. But in a drug addiction, for instance, when you are doing drugs, you want to isolate yourself away from your family, when in reality, your family is what you need to get through that. So in love, when you're in love with someone and you're not showing up as you authentically are, you feel the need to isolate yourself so that you can be that person, when in reality you need to be closer to that person and you need to align your guys' values, and you need to know each other's attachment style to see how you guys are interacting with one another, especially if you have children. Like, this is more than you now. And this brings me into the topic of the new generation. I don't even know what generation that is. I don't pay attention to generations. But we're at an all-time high of mental health issues. People feeling like they don't belong. So if this is the family dynamic that a child is being brought up in, think about what they're seeing, okay? So they know that you love them. They know that they belong to their mom and their dad. Like, this is their family. But they have all these issues going on inside of them. They're depressed. They have anxiety. They have BPD, whatever it is. Like, all these different issues arising within this child when they're just in school and they feel like they don't belong. Okay, so us as parents, not that we're doing anything wrong, not that we're creating a bad environment for them, but think about it. Us as parents with the child going through all these issues, how are we showing them belonging? So if they don't feel like they belong, when was the last time that we interacted with a stranger and showed that stranger belonging? Because it's going to be in the subconscious mind. It's going to be in the back of their mind. It's not going to be what is physically presented in them. You're going to be loving them. You're going to be giving them everything they need and at your wit's end, and you just don't know how else to help your child. What if helping your child was just being kind to other people, strangers that you encounter? What if your child was looking for a sense of belonging from the way that you treat strangers? Because when they go to school, they're strangers. All those children that are at that school, they're all strangers until they create a friend group. And it's the way that we approach strangers and how our kids see us approach strangers or talk to strangers in even short encounters that our kids understand what belonging is with strangers. Okay, so yeah, that's my rant today. Anywho, peace and love. Thanks. Bye.